Hey everyone, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist and I'm creating a video every day for a year. This is video 320. Thanks so much for watching and listening. And I almost didn't post this because I thought I might cry. I'm in an emotional state today. Please don't judge me, but even if you do judge me, it's okay. Do you guys remember the show Laguna Beach? For all you 40 somethings. It came out in 2004 to 2006. It was one of those dumb reality shows that some of us enjoyed back then. And it just so happens that '04 through part of '06 were some of the hardest years of my life. And I'm sure my best friend is going to watch this and you'll remember this. But the '04, '05 were the times when I was like drinking a lot and there was a lot going on at home. And I was also sexually assaulted in 2005. So there was a lot going on in my life right about then. And then the beginning of '06, I started dating my ex-husband, and then things got a lot better after that, of course. But it just brings back so much nostalgia of back in the day because the 20-year reunion came on today and streamed on Roku. I was like, how do I watch this? And I figured it out and I started watching it. And it just made me cry during some of the parts because they were showing old scenes and it just takes you back. And then, of course, some of the cast members' parents had passed away and one of the cast members' brothers had passed away. And it was just so cool to see these people 20 years later that are just a little bit younger than me all be successful, all be happy with children and all of these things. And so it just got me thinking about how precious life is. And we really need to enjoy every moment and really just live in the moment if you can. Live there. Enjoy the journey towards any goal that you have, including money, which we're going to get to. Our day 14, I think we're on. But I wanted to start with this first and be a little vulnerable because I was just boo-hooing a little bit. And I just wanted to share because it just got me thinking about how precious time really is. And I can't believe that 20 years has gone by. And I think back to my young self back then. And I just, I was so much less secure than I am and so much less confident. And I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know that I could say no to things. Didn't know that, you could use no as a complete sentence. I just thought I had to plow through life and just go hard at everything I did and not rest and not take care of myself in any sort of way. I didn't know how to take care of myself very well. I've always been an exerciser and, eating somewhat decently, but back in those days, not so much. And we just didn't have the information we have today about health and wellness and peace. So I just want to tell you to always protect your peace and always create peace in your life. Live in love. The energy of love is so important. Live in compassion. Have compassion for people. The kids that were on there now, now almost 40. I think all of them are about 40 at this time. Late 30s for sure. They were just kids, insecure little kids too, back in high school. And you thought looking at them that they were super secure and confident with themselves, and really none of them were. They were all just insecure little kids. And I think we've all been there at one time. And so I encourage you and me to continue to be the light for people who need it and teach our children, the generations underneath us, that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to say no when you want to say no. Within reason, of course, you got to listen to your parents and, all that kind of stuff. But it's okay to say no, and it's okay to be yourself and never doubt yourself and never doubt your abilities, and always love yourself and always be kind to yourself, because that was something I didn't learn how to do. And I don't think any of us did back then. So there was a cast member that said something like, I didn't know that I had permission to say no, and a lot of people don't know how to say no, and we become people pleasers. And so just really watch your self-talk, what you say to yourself, and be very gentle and kind with yourself and loving with yourself, because it's so important to do that. And remember, again, live in the moment, because time it flashes by. I just couldn't believe. I was like, oh my God. And all the, oh my gosh, the fashion back then, Lord have mercy. It's coming back, some of that stuff. I think some of the 90s fashion is coming back too. Like I'm seeing some like 1995, 1994-ish kind of clothes coming back mixed in with the Y2K. It's very interesting what's coming back. But yeah, so I don't know. It just got me thinking about, just enjoying life, like really enjoying it, not worrying so much because it just goes by so fast, and enjoy the people that you have in your life right now, no matter who is there with you. Reach out to people, tell them that you love them, and just maintain a sense of peace in your heart, and always, hold on to that and keep that at the forefront of your mind. And staying in that state will get you to your money, which is what we're going to talk about next. This is Countdown to Riches, 21 Days of Wealth Attracting Habits by Rhonda Byrne, her book. This is day number 14, and it's Thank You Paid. If you wish to enjoy more prosperity and success in life, you have to consciously, boldly, and deliberately take hold of your thoughts and feelings and redirect them towards prosperity and success. Catherine Ponder, author and minister. I'm going to read that one more time. If you wish to enjoy more prosperity and success in life, we all do, you have to consciously, boldly, and deliberately take hold of your thoughts and feelings and redirect them towards prosperity and success. So we have to redirect deliberately our thoughts where we want them to go. You tell your brain what you want it to think. Remember that. And so I'll just read some of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she says, you now know that feeling bad about a lack of money will create an even greater lack of money in your life. But it can be a particular challenge not to feel bad when we receive and pay bills. If you don't have as much money as you need, paying bills can really cause your feelings to plummet. But to have the financial freedom you want, those bad feelings have to go. I found that creating games around paying bills helped me to feel better about them. The games I created shifted my feelings, which eventually helped me to shift from a scarcity mindset to a wealth mindset. One game I created to shift my feelings about bills was to pretend that the bills were actually checks. I would jump for joy as I opened them and say, more money for me, thank you, thank you. Then across each bill, I would write, thank you for the money, and feel the feelings of gratitude for receiving that money, to the point where I had tears in my eyes. Finally, when I was able to pay the amount on each bill, I would write, thank you, paid, and pay it with gratitude. Today, I would like you to take any current unpaid bills you have, look at each amount, and briefly imagine that this is a check you are receiving. Then write across each one, thank you for the money. If your unpaid bills are online, then print them out and write, thank you for the money across each one. Next, I would like you to take 10 bills you've paid in the past and write across the front of each of them, thank you, paid. Feel truly grateful that you had the money to pay the bill. I've been doing this practice for more than 20 years. To this day, I still write across my bills, thank you, paid, and I always have the money to pay every bill. I would encourage you to follow in my footsteps. I love that. Thank you, paid. That feels really good to say that. Man, we just have to direct deliberately our thoughts where we want them to go. I was talking about this with a client today, about how we have to just live in the moment and direct our thoughts where we want them to go, because our brains do not know the difference in between past, present, future, true, false. It doesn't know. It has no clue. And so we get to think what we want to think, and we don't know that. But I'm telling you, you get to do that. You have the permission to do that now. So it just takes practice to go from self one to self two, and to believe that you can actually be, do, and have everything that you want. We doubt ourselves, again, back to the beginning of this video. There is no way that I would have been able to talk about what I just talked about had I not have just been practicing this whole year. Vulnerability was always hard for me, I think. I could talk to some people about certain things, but if it was something that was going to make me cry, it was really kind of hard to talk about with just anybody. I always felt like I was like a burden when I would cry in front of someone, and maybe they wouldn't know how to make me feel better, or maybe they would just say nothing and that would make me feel worse. And so I'm one of those people that needs a hug when I'm crying, and only a couple people in my life have actually hugged me when I've been crying. So it's like everybody just has their way of dealing with emotion. And it's hard for the person that's sitting there like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? You know? So I think that just learning how to be vulnerable with one another and how to hold the space for someone when they're being vulnerable is really important. So I want you guys to think on that. Like, how do you deal with vulnerability? How are you able to handle it? Because I know a lot of people have a hard time with that. And I think a lot of people don't trust other people very much. And so trust is built within yourself first. And so remember that to trust oneself, you have to start showing up for yourself so you keep the promises that you make to yourself. And so another question I would ask is, what is hindering me from living the life that I want to live? What is hindering me from being the person that I want to become? And again, I've said this in videos before, but that is my biggest goal for this year, is to be the best self I can be this year. Of course, we all grow and we're going to get better and better every day. I love that mantra. I get better and better every day, or I'm getting better and better every day. These videos have been so healing for me over this last year. There's been so much going on personally in my life, and it is just such a blessing to be able to share myself and express myself with you. And I appreciate you guys so much for listening to me. It is just amazing, the energy that is shared. And I can't wait to share more in the future with what I'm creating and to get to know you guys better. I'm just so excited about all of it. So I think that's all I wanted to say. There was so much that came up for me today. But yes, and also ask yourself, where might I have a closed heart? You want to do everything with an open heart. And that's the goal for me too, is like, how do I do my job to the best of my ability with an open heart? And how do I do my job as a mother, a sister, a partner, a friend, a spouse, whatever your father, I'm forgetting the men, sorry about that, father, brother, husband, boyfriend, all of the titles that we have. How are you a boss? There's another one, business owner. Are you doing your best with integrity and with an open heart at those jobs? Ask yourself, how am I closing myself off to my heart? Or how can I do this job with an open heart? So ask yourself those questions. That was a lot of questions in one video today. We talked about some money. Now, to get your money, you got to open that heart, and you can get your money. But it's about getting into yourself, getting into your heart, knowing what you're wanting, why you're wanting it, feel it before it comes. Visualize yourself with, like, personally, I wouldn't even worry about the money. The money will come when you start getting into the feeling of love and compassion for yourself. Start with yourself first. And when you start feeling that feeling on a daily basis, you will start perceiving things that you couldn't perceive before. And they will lead you to that pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. But you got to walk on that rainbow to get to that pot of gold. That's the key. So you got to get into your heart and get to know you and what you really love and what lights you up. And you got to be that light, be the example for others. So with that said, before I start to cry, I'm gonna let you go. So it's been a great day today. It's been an awesome day. And what a blessing it is to be on here to talk to you guys. And what a blessing Laguna Beach gave me today, if we can believe this. So anyway, love you guys. Remember, you're so loved. Share that with anybody who might need to hear it today. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.